Welcome you all once again. Here we have a research scholar, our beloved doctor, who is ready to share his experience and research details with us. We welcome Dr. Sreekumar Raghav Kaimal. Sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you,
We are
Subha.
very much pleased to have you here with us, sir, for a deep insights of a thing which is very horrible today and which is almost here and there, not almost here and there. Entire world is suffering from this type of things. We can tell like that, sir. This is nothing but a deadly disease called cancer.
It is, Subha, my family, we are impacted with the cancer. When it comes, my father died of lung cancer.
Okay, sir.
My brother died of thyroid cancer. And my mother was a survivor, breast cancer survivor, but he completely cured and, passed away when she was 98. So global cancer burden is dramatically larger than in India.
Yes, sir.
But India's mortality to incidence ratio
Okay.
is significantly worse, meaning a higher proportion of diagnosed patients die, mainly because they are diagnosed at a later stage.
Stage. Okay.
So,
Sir,
for example, if I can give you a statistics on the cancer cases globally, last year in 2025,
okay.
about 21 million new cancer cases were diagnosed compared to 1.6 million in India.
Okay.
But if you look at the death rate, diagnosis to death rate, in globally, there was about 10 million deaths from cancer, whereas in India, that was almost 1 million. So,
So
1 in
almost
10 death from
10.
cancer is from India.
India. Okay. It's really alarm signal, isn't it, sir?
It is alarming, and 1 in 10 death last year in India was from the cancer diagnosis globally. So mainly the lung cancer, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, liver cancer, all those are major cause for major death in cancer cases.
Sir, actually, you had told me that cancers are of different types, such as lung, collateral, and liver. So why it can't be identified in a early stage itself, sir? Because it's a deadly disease. It
It
has some
is.
symptoms, isn't it?
It
So
is.
whether we are avoiding it or it is not found in, just it's commonly growing on to all one and all, sir.
Because of the Subha, because of the late stage diagnosis, we don't, in western countries people go for regular checkups, most of them or many of them,
Okay.
whereas in India, we go to see the physician when we are sick. So it is a sick care, not wellness related. So when we are feeling not well, that is when we go to the doctor, and preventive measures are less, and because of that, the cancer is diagnosed at a very late stage in many cases, or most of the cases. That leads to metastasize into various organs and spread into other organs, and then it is much harder for to control the disease stage.
Okay. So why is cancer research at an inflection point, sir?
It is, because if you look at the cancer research, we are shifting from finding and treating late stage, cancer to predict, prevent, intercept, and personalize the, or precision medicine, cancer care across the lifetime, right? So cancer care is becoming more like cardiology. When we have cardiac problems, we continuously assess the risk. Then we look for early warning signs, and then tailoring the treatment to those risk factors. Whereas in the cancer care is becoming like, cardiology, but the patients ask about, the real questions, what could I have done earlier? So
So,
we finally have some answers, I will review that with you in the later part of, our discussion.
so what can we do to prevent this horrible disease, sir?
So now from lifestyle, the classical prevention, for example, smoking, we know that is a very big risk factor for lung cancer, etc. And the same is the case with, vaccination like HPV vaccination, which can prevent, the cervical cancer, and hepatitis B and C vaccination actually not only prevent the uh, hepatitis C and B, but also prevent the liver cancer, for example.
Okay.
Then, in addition to that, with the advancement in genomic and the proteomics and metabolomics, we can actually identify the genes, proteins are involved in the development of the cancer, as well as when we are treating them, we can actually monitor some of the biomarkers, how exactly the treatment is suiting these patients, and can, how the patient is benefiting from those treatments. I will tell you one of the key things, the people with the BRCA1 and 2 mutations are at high risk for developing breast cancer in women.
Okay.
But the cancer screening is not happening in many cases in India, such as MRI or annual mammogram in their 40s or 50s. So those are very important key factors we need to implement, deploy to, early detection and saving the life.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, I want to know one thing from you, sir. So, when it is identified in an early stage, whether it can be curable, sir?
It can, but that is what, let me tell you my own mother's experience with the cancer.
Yes,
She
sir,
was
yes.
diagnosed with cancer when she was in her 60s
Okay.
with breast cancer. And actually, we are so grateful to the Dr. Shanda, late Dr. Shanda from Adair Cancer Institute. She was her patient.
Okay.
And so she diagnosed these from the normal, mammogram followed by the biopsy. She identified that my mother had breast cancer and it was at an early stage.
Okay.
Then we did a genomic analysis on her breast biopsy and identified that her breast cancer was developed because of the impairment in herceptin receptor genes. So we realized that there is a precise medication called herceptin was ideally for my mother's treatment, and she prescribed that, and she completely cured from her breast cancer, and she lived another 30 years and died when she was 98 years old because of the old age issues, health issues. Same is the case with my brother. On the other hand, he diagnosed with thyroid cancer at late stage. So we couldn't do much. Even Rare Cancer Institute, they took care of him, but he eventually passed away in 2017 from the thyroid cancer because the iodine therapy which he was getting was not very effective in his treatment, and also it was already metastasized into other parts of the body, and he passed away when he was like 74 years old. So it is all about regular mammograms or colonoscopy or MRI screening and wellness checkup, so that we can catch the cancer at early stage. When we are detecting this cancer, at early stage, there are cures, there are ways to manage this cancer care. Now, there are, from blood samples and stool samples, there are methods to test and identify cancer at very, very early stage. Just like, the diabetics, the glucose levels and the glycosylated hemoglobin levels are ways to identify diabetes at early stage. Now we can deploy the blood test for diagnosing cancer at an early stage.
Sir, actually, I want to ask you one thing, sir. So, if the cancer identified in the early stage maybe or fully it is easily curable as per your words, am I right, sir?
Yes, in many cases that is the case, because
Okay,
in many cancer cases there are not the right precision medicine are not available. Those cases it is little bit more challenging, but there are so many approaches we can take where we can control the spread of cancer and cure cancer if it is diagnosed in very early stage. That is where the genome blood test and the mammogram, the MRI, is so important.
Sir, actually, I want to ask you one more thing, sir. So, if cancer identification at a early stage, one part. So, what will be the precision medicine in the context of cancer, sir?
Precision medicine means tailoring your treatment to patient's cancer. The
Okay.
cancer is developing because of the impairment in the genes, proteins, and the metabolomics in the patients. So I precisely identifying what malfunction, what is really causing that cancer from proteomics, genomics, etc. is very important. Then we can tailor, as I mentioned in my mother's case, if that development of cancer in her case was because of the impairment in her certain genes.
Okay. So,
So
most of the cases it will be genetical. Can we take like that, sir?
Cancer is a genetic disease. So
So,
various life, experiences such as smoking and, drugs, various, taking drugs and other things can have a profound impact in cancer development. But again, cancer is a genetic disease, and eventually we will be able to cure cancer, or at least we will be able to control it become like a diabetic care or cardiology care, because the heart disease we can control. So eventually the goal of, cancer research is to help to get to that stage where cancer is a manageable disease like diabetics eventually.
okay. So, what are the tools enabling precision oncology, sir?
So basically, it is a very good question, Subha. The genomic sequencing of the tumor.
Okay.
So when we take the biopsy from the patient and take sequencing that tumor, genome, you will be able to identify what are the genes implicated in the development of the disease.
Okay.
That is what precisely we did in my mother's case, and we were able to identify precisely what genes were impaired, and herceptin was the right medication for her, and she completely cured from that cancer. So in addition to that, molecular imaging, single cell, and in fact. There are works going on isolating the tumor cells in the circulating blood samples in our body and analyzing that and identifying what kind of cancer is it and which organ that malignant tumor cells are, came into the blood samples. So there is a lot of advancement in the precision oncology medicine is happening, and some of them are actually in the clinical trial stage as we speak.
So what are the clinical impact will be, sir?
Targeted drugs matching the mutations.
Okay.
Also the immunotherapies we are developing, for example, Kichuda is a very effective treatment, for various type of cancers and metastasized. So monitoring and uh, tuning the treatment, the immunotherapies to the tumor microenvironment, and monitoring minimal residual disease, changing therapy as the cancer evolves. So it is not a one size fit all, but we need to monitor this patient's cancer on a regular basis so that we can tailor the treatment to suit the treatment.
Okay, sir. Sir, beyond treatment, what can we learn from these clinical data that we got from them?
So same data guide the prognosis, surveillance plans, and even prevention in high-risk families. For example, as I mentioned, cancer is a genetic disease. So the genes from parents are transferred to children. So, basically we can use this data from the cancer patients to guide the the offsprings, and their grandchildren's, great grandchildren's for cancers. Let me give you an example. The BRCA1 and BRCA2, as I mentioned, are high risk for, breast cancer. So if somebody diagnosed with cancer and they have the predisposition of BRCA1 and BRCA2, then their children's and grandchildren's all should be at risk for high risk for getting breast cancer.
Okay,
So
fine.
they can, watch and monitor their genetic profiling to minimize the risk for and take the treatments or whatever need to be done to minimize the risk for breast cancer.
Sir, how these three pillars, such as you are told, prognosis, surveillance plans, and even protection. So these three pillars, such as these are connects to our real life. Actually, how they are connected to our real life, sir?
Clearly, those are the three pillars, the prevention, early detection, and the precision treatment, right?
Yes, sir.
So prevention, when we know that, we are at high risk because of smoking or some of the patient, our ancestors, parents, grandparents died of cancer, then we all fall into that high risk group.
Okay.
Then we should have a regular checkups and genomic profiling and other things, this diagnosis, treat and wellness plans on a regular basis, and then that will allow us to detect the cancer if it is there at very early stage. So use the imaging or the blood-based test, as I mentioned earlier, to catch this cancer at a very early stage, because now we have the tools. The blood test, from just going to the clinic or hospital and taking the blood samples and analyzing for these risk factors, you can identify cancer at very early stage. That is lifesaver.
Okay.
When cancer come to so close to us, like in my family, we will drop everything and, do everything we can to save the life. But my advice is that, we should, especially when it is a family members are impacted with cancer, we should take things seriously and have this, the early diagnosis tools, go to the clinic and do it on a regular basis once a year, especially when you are in beyond 40s. And that is a very good thing. I told my nieces to do regular checkup and take care of their health, because of in my family we have a high risk for cancer cases.
Sir, actually, I want to ask you one thing from my bottom of my heart, sir. So you told that it can be early detected. Okay, there are tools nowadays which can help us to detect cancer at an early stage. You are telling me like that. So why the medicines that we are going for a cancer treatment is very, very high, and the treatment cost also very high, sir. Why this?
It is because all these discoveries are expensive. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that the cancer research is very expensive.
Okay.
So when these discoveries happens after long-term investment of money from these pharmaceutical companies,
Okay.
they want to recoup that money from marketing these drugs.
Okay, sir.
So especially they have the patents and the licensing for these drugs for 15, 20, 25 years, and one way they are recouping is actually by reimbursing, charging money for the. That is where early detection is so key, Subha. Because that is not that expensive. When you go to the a hospital or a clinic and do the blood test or the we do the diabetic testing regularly in many cases. So we need to, spread the word and encourage people to go and do this wellness checkup on an annual basis, especially when we are in their 50s and 60s.
Okay.
So that is the challenge, especially in India. That's a big challenge, getting these people go to clinic and do the, and the government should be able to do, non-profit organizations should, I salute, the effort by late Dr. Shanta in Adar Cancer Institute. She was a strong advocate for early diagnosis, early checkups, and doing all these things. And I met with her, many times, that we had this discussion, and she is actually doing some of these things that started doing these things in Adar Cancer Institute.
Okay, sir. So, what are the challenges in the road ahead for conquering cancer, sir?
Good thing you asked me. The access and quality. So, the risk tools, genomic testing, advanced therapies must reach rural, low-income, minority communities, not just the major cancer centers and the cities. Vast majority of the Indian population lives in rural areas, and we should have access by having healthcare, cancer centers and hospitals for their easy access. That is the number one thing. Then, as you asked me earlier, the cost and infrastructure, right? Healthcare cost is, high. So the government and the non-profit are doing quite a bit, but they could do more to really, help these people to reduce the cost, subsidizing this, healthcare. So health system need data platforms, trained staff, and reimbursement models that reward prevention and precision, not just late stage treatment. Then also it is important that, ethical and emotional dimensions, how much risk information do people want? How do we support patients who learn they carry high risk, mutations and early diagnosis? So we have to deliver this one in a balanced way to our people so that we can save many more lives and by identifying these cancer patients at early stage.
So, what is your optimistic outlook on the future of cancer research and treatment, sir?
So, for the first time, we can imagine a future where cancer is often prevented, intercepted early, and treated precisely based on your biology. That means, what I mean is that, the genetic makeup of your genes, and that guides your care. So we need to, empower the population to get early diagnosis and wellness checkup. Through that, we can identify this or diagnose the patients at early stage. That is going to be a lifesaver in our cases.
So thank you for us, sir. We are very much honored to have you here with us. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you, Subha.